All right, it's about that time. I know it's long overdue. It's time for us to start looking at how we can use artificial intelligence to help us get our work done faster and, more importantly, get some of our time back. Because I know with me, I have a ton of stuff on my plate. And right now, I've really been looking into creative ways to be able to use artificial intelligence to help us out. And it only makes sense that we start with ChatGPT. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I set up ChatGPT from scratch, how I create my GPTs, and everything in between. Let's dig in. All right, here we are on my MacBook Pro, and let me plus this for you. Make sure you see it good. And the first thing I want to walk you through is these over here are GPTs, so don't worry about it. I'll show you how I did it a little bit later. But here's where we want to start. We want to start right here on our name. If you don't already have this, then I highly recommend you come over to, you can just type in ChatGPT. Well, let's go over to Google just in case. We're going to be extra thorough. And then you just type in ChatGPT. And from there, this is going to be the very first one. You click here, and since I'm already logged in, it's just going to automatically log me in. However, if you're not already logged in, it's going to have you walk through it. You can use the free version. Cool thing about it is, honestly, this is an invaluable tool that you should be using. All right, so let me show you how to set it up. So first things first, I'm going to click on my name, and I'm going to go to Customize ChatGPT. Now, for me, as you can see, I give ChatGPT a lot of information about me. The reason why is because I wanted to give me back the best results for me. So I give it my ethnicity. I tell it a little bit about me. I tell it, what my goals are, what I'm doing, all the stuff in between, my hobbies, my likes, my dislikes, all that. So I can get a better understanding of who I am as an individual, so that way when it gives me a response back, it's more tailored to who I am as an individual, and it sounds more like me or more in line with my thinking. However, I make sure that I ask ChatGPT to basically give me constructive feedback, meaning challenge me on things, make me think harder about certain topics. Don't just go along to get along. And all of that stuff can be put in right here where it says custom instruction. So you can see where I give it my ethnicity, my age, where I was born at, a little bit about my backstory, even my number one goal, all that good stuff. And then you can see down here, I talk about, the YouTube channel, We'll Talk Tech. I talk about some of the products that I've reviewed on here. And then I go on and talk about affiliate marketing, things like that. And then I come down here and I talk a little bit about some of the AI tools that I'm using. So this is just custom instructions. Really, really cool stuff. And over here, we have a little window that pops up that tells us what, some basic questions if we need some starters. Down here, and I highly recommend you get as close to using as many characters as you possibly can. Now, when we look down here, this is how would you like ChatGPT to respond to you? So for me, I tell it a little bit about my audience, who I'm talking to, and make sure that whatever it creates for me is in line with my audience. That's the biggest thing to me. Then you can see I talk about some of the things. I also ask it to reply in US English with the English spelling. This is because I was having an issue with ChatGPT misspelling words. It was spelling it in a different language, and I really couldn't understand why, because my settings were set up for English. But for whatever reason, once I put this line up in there, that went away. Then you can see down here it says, when given a response, I would like you to explain your answer to me as if I was a third grader. This is just me basically understanding what ChatGPT is talking about and not having it talk over my head in a super sophisticated way. So when you do things like this, you will see ChatGPT is kind of like that's his favorite line when it's talking to me. It's kind of like, and it will give an example of something I'm used to or something like that. So that works for me. You can see down here, right here it says I'm Black or African American male. So when creating a 3D digital art, I would like to see a subject to be of the African American with characteristics of a Black person. So for me, this was important for me because every single character ChatGPT was spitting out had nothing to do with the Black ethnicity. So me using it in a thumbnail and then people clicking through and seeing me, I just didn't like it. So I put this up in there to make sure that they give me characters more in line with me. Then it says, if he have questions to ask me about it before completing the task. Although ChatGPT rarely asks me a question before completing the task unless I put it specifically inside of the prompt. But having it here, honestly, I haven't really seen no really good feedback from it. So I might remove that and put something else. When I have something else to put up in here, then I'll take this out. So this right here is constantly changing, constantly evolving for me. Then you can see it says, I want you to give me informal feedback and share a different perspective with me. So that's just helping me think more. You can see everything I do is being published to the internet under the Will Talk Tech brand. This means if I don't act something or left off a step that you feel is important, share that step. Then you can see I have some more stuff for summarization and things like that. And you can see down here again, I try to do my best to max out my characters. So this is just how ChatGPT is going to be customized to me. So that's the very first thing you want to do when you're getting started with ChatGPT. The next thing you want to do is you want to come over here to your settings. So I'm going to just click on my name again. I'm going to go to settings. And over here is where you get to set up certain things. So first things first, I have my theme set up for system. You can see my archive. Right now I have archive all chats. We can click right here instead of being over here on the side, just going one by one. Or I can delete all chats with this button. My speech, you can see I'm using Amber. I like her the best out of everybody. Beta features, I have my beta feature turned on. This right here is a paid feature, so if you're not paying the $20 a month for ChatGPT, then you won't have access to this. And honestly, if you're not paying the $20 a month and you do anything dealing with text or needing something done for your job, or you're creative or anything like that, then honestly, you need to drop one of your other bills and make room in a budget for this, because honestly, learning how to use ChatGPT and other AI tools is mission critical right now. Plus, it's just going to help you get back a lot of your time, especially when I start showing you how we're going to be using GPTs. All right, so I have this turned on, but since I've turned this on, they honestly discontinued it. So it's more, they done switched it over to GPTs. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. My data controls, I have it right here. I haven't really done anything up in here. This was already turned on. And then we have builder profile. So over here, you can add in, different things and stuff like that. But again, I didn't touch none of this. Those are the things you want to make sure you set up under your settings. Next, these right here are called GPTs. Now, the cool thing about this, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur or solo creator, is certain things in our business where we have to wear many different hats, such as right now, I'm a content creator, but when this camera goes off, I become a video editor. When I'm done being a video editor, I become a marketer. When I'm done being a marketer, I become a publicist, trying to figure out how I can really push the content, how I can really build the social media, which is Will Talk Tech on YouTube. So I become all these different people depending upon the task. Well, with GPTs, the way I leverage them is to help me fulfill some of these roles that I'm not an expert at. So to give you an example of this, right now I'm currently learning DaVinci Resolve. I'm mainly learning DaVinci Resolve because honestly, I think I got a pretty cool setup, but I don't feel like I captured that setup because either my colors be off, my skin tones be incorrect or something like that. So I spent like $400 to take a DaVinci Resolve course. I'm going through that. On top of that, I'm brushing up on Elementor because honestly, when I started this channel, I shut down everything else, including a lot of affiliate sites I was dealing with and managing. So I'm brushing up on that. I'm currently learning Figma, which honestly, muscle memory gonna kick in because I was using Figma with all my other affiliates marketing sites. But since this is the first real project that I had that I actually care about, I'm making sure I do this right. Then on top of all of that, I'm still learning how to code. So I'm saying all this to say this. I have a lot of stuff I'm doing. I have a lot of different hats I'm learning about. And having ChatGPT as an expert in each one of those categories helps me out tremendously. Doesn't mean ChatGPT always get it right, because it doesn't. But it's a lot better than starting from scratch. So when we look right here, we can look at Explore GPTs. If I click on that, all of these are GPTs. GPTs are basically, you can think of a GPT as like a plugin, but it's a plugin of your own making, or it's a plugin made by communities. Another word for GPTs could be, custom plugins, kind of like a shortcut, if you will. So you can see right here, we have dollies, we have an image generator, we have a logo creator, we have cartoonize yourself, we have draw to style. Then we have photo multiverse. Then we can see more. So we have a lot of different things up in here that we can play around with. And honestly, if we go over to writing, we have these as well. We can play around with all of these. They actually got one up in here for Canva as well. So let's demo this just in case you've never seen it. I'm going to click on here. I'm going to say start chat, and I'm going to tell ChatGPT, because this is how the plugin would have worked if it was still going, but since it's not a plugin no more, this is how it works. Okay, so I typed up something really quickly. You can see right here where it says create a theme presentation around getting started with the AI. Make it 20 slides or less. I want the slides to focus on giving AI better prompts for better results. The audience is people who love productivity and want to learn how to use AI to help take care of the boring tasks. Then you can see down here, I put ask me any questions you have before completing the task for best results. At that point, I could just click right here, and now it's going to go do its thing. And notice right here, it's actually using Canva, not ChatGPT. It's using Canva, which means your designs are going to be restricted to the power of Canva. So you really got to be careful with how sophisticated you try to make it, because honestly, if you try to use Canva to make a thumbnail, it's not going to come out good. All right, so it says, hello, excited to bring your vision to life. Start your creativity journey with Canva. This will be a design we will design together. All right, it says, it sounds like, okay, so long story short, it's saying that to ensure we capture the essence of your vision, could you please share a bit more about the key points or messages you like each slide to focus on? This will help in creating a presentation that's perfectly aligned with your goals. So to keep this simple, I'm gonna say, okay, so you can see right here, I just broke down, because it's asking me what slides, like what's the theme. So I gave them 5 examples. So it says focus on the best prompts for correcting grammar, best prompts for writing better copy. Notice I said copy. ChatGPT understands copy is different from writing an article or something like that. Copy is made to sell something or get someone to engage. ChatGPT will understand that word, writing better copy. Then it says focus on best prompts for creating thumbnails that grab attention, prompts that flesh out ideas, and prompts that help get things done. And then down here, I summarized it by saying the other slides should be in line with things that a person would like to know when they are just getting started with productivity. We asked the question up here. We told it to access anything it needs to know to fulfill on this. It did. Now we're going to send it, and we're going to see what ChatGPT come up with. Now remember, this is limited by Canva. So right now, it's just giving us the prompts. So now what it did was, okay, so it only gave us 5 of them. So I guess the ones that it gave us was the 5 that I did. Okay, so it says, using the example above, turn these 5 slides into a modern slide deck. So now what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to come up here, look at these right here, take these 5 and turn them into a slide deck. So let's see if it actually do that. Okay, so it didn't create the slide deck, and I'm assuming that's because this is still pretty new. But if I told it to if I said create a movie poster for We'll Talk Tech coming up, let's just say June 2026. Then let's see if it create this. This right here that I did, I guess is too sophisticated for Canva, because ChatGPT could have definitely done it. Okay, so now it's actually doing it. All right, so you can see that with this right here, it did it with no problem. But you can see up here, it wasn't able to do it. I guess they're going to, upgrade it more. So ChatGPT is limited still, or should I say GPTs are limited based on, whatever API you're talking to. So the ChatGPT is limited by the API, which means that each API got a certain amount of commands it can do. And if you talking outside of the commands it's able to do, ChatGPT tries to give you an alternative without telling you it can't do that. But as you can see, this is how it works. I can easily click into here, go over to Canva, and let's see, it should bring it in for me, and I should be able to easily start editing it. All right, so now that I'm successfully logged into Canva, you can see that design we did in ChatGPT, I can now come over here and make whatever changes I want to it. So if I don't want it to be Will Talk Tech and I just want it to be Will Talk for whatever reason, that would be kind of weird. But that you could do that. If I don't like this image right here, I can remove this image and put something else over here. If I don't like this right here, I can change it up. If this isn't big enough, I can make it bigger. So this is some of the cool things you can do with ChatGPT to give you a starting point. Now, honestly, I don't use Canva, but I know a lot of people do. What I'm going to do is jump back over to ChatGPT, and again, it's limited by the power of Canva and not ChatGPT. So while it couldn't do this, it is pretty cool that, it still gave us the outline and all that other stuff. And just, let's see, for kicks and giggles, let's see something really quickly. So I'm going to say copy. Then I'm going to come over here to ChatGPT. Now, this is using actual ChatGPT, ChatGPT 4. So I'm going to just say, all right, I'm going to paste that in. So now what I want to do is I want to come up here. I'm going to delete this part right here because I don't need that part. And I'm going to say send. So the reason why I started with asking ChatGPT what would it do is because I find that if I tell it to just, hey, I need you to build me a slide deck, more times than not, it doesn't do it. However, if I have an initial conversation with it first and then say, okay, turn that idea into an example slide deck, it works. So now what I'm going to put is, okay, so it says, okay, give me an example of the slide deck above using your idea. Make each slide 1920 by 1080. Let's see how it do. And you can see right now, ChatGPT is actually going out creating it. And right now, if I'm not mistaken, it's using DALL-E to create these images and not ChatGPT. And with DALL-E, you can get very creative, but you got to get used to the back and forth conversation. Just telling them to open up and do something, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. And you can see this is the first image is created. This would be the very first slide deck. And you can see it's now creating the next slide. And I don't want to click on it, so we're just going to let this finish up and then we can click through and see what we think of it. Okay, so we can see that the first one, so if we go back up here, these are the slides it gave us. If we click right here, I actually really like this slide. This would be something I would actually use. Now, I don't know about, they're going to he Sunday. So as you can see, it misspelled a lot of words, and that's because it's switching between language. It's switching languages while it's spelling. I don't know why ChatGPT does that, but it does that, and you can see it clearer here. So you can see right here it says before, then it changed your website, but you see right here something else, and then over here boost your site's appeal, and then it almost looks like it, is, as you can see, it gets crazy. And you can see down here, so with ChatGPT, the thing about it, and we can go back over here to slide decks. The thing about ChatGPT is you have to have patience with it, because honestly, if you don't, you're going to get very frustrated. And then you can see right here, attention. So if I was actually doing this, I would go back in ChatGPT and I would just tell it, all right, so really quickly I put, make the slides more professional. Each slide should tell a story about what the person will learn based on each slide topic. So I'm telling him to stick to this. Then I'm saying, make sure you are using only the U.S. English spelling for each word. I've seen a lot of words misspelled or in a different language. So this is what I would usually go back and do. And then I would say send. Now, when it comes to ChatGPT, a lot of what we're doing right now is because we're actually using the baked in ChatGPT. We're using the default. But the purpose of GPTs is so that we don't have to do this. He already has his instructions, or ChatGPT already has, I don't know why I keep saying he, but he or she, just in case, already have their instructions, and it's easy for them to already know what we're talking about, versus, me having to reiterate, use English, this, that, and the other. So that's one of the benefits of GPT. So let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so doing this, I hit ChatGPT limit. All right, but let's go back up to the top, because I still wasn't happy with what they were giving me. So if we scroll all the way back up here, we can see right here, you remember when I asked it to recreate it because the spelling was off, then it gave me this, which honestly, these images look really, really good. The problem is the wording in them are misspelled. So I came down here and I said, the words in the slides are misspelled. Please redo slides. So that's when they came up with this. Like, I really like this design right here. And I think this right here is pretty cool. This one is kind of like out there. I like the people down there. I know this slide deck would definitely hold someone's attention, but with misspelled words, they'll be too focused on the misspelled words. ears to hear what you got to say, especially in this case. I don't know if that's a different language or what, but this right here, these two people right here, you know that versus is really, really good. So cluttered versus super neat, this is something that could go very far. That would be a really nice slide to do. But again, I got creative and I said, okay, since I can't get it to spell the words correctly or use English, I came and said, okay, create each slide without using any words. Let the image tell the story of what the topic is about. So this is the first one he came up with, and I had to come back up here and see what was the first one, and this is grammar correction prompts slide deck. So for grammar corrections, I guess because, and even if you look at these symbols have nothing to do with English. Like it's different. But if we look right here, I really like this. And then writing better while it's misspelled, you know, and down here I don't even know what that say. I think this says engagement, but this down here I have no clue. This right here by far is the best picture it came up with. And this is basically about capturing, you know, creating thumbnails that pop and grab a person's attention. This definitely does that with all those vibrant colors and things like that. Then down here you can see was the ideal generator, which this was another good one. I could have used that, but you can see I hit my limit, so they throttled me back and making me wait 5 minutes before I can complete this. So what we're gonna do is hopefully you're starting to see that, you know, ChatGPT has its limit, but while it has its limits, we can go a long way. So to prove this point, let me show you this. All right, so when we understand what ChatGPT limits are, we're able to work around them. So for example, I know I'm having a very hard time getting it to create slides that I want. So what I want to do now is I want to grab one of these prompts. So let's see here, write better copy slides. Let's say create in this one right here. So creating attention grabbing thumbnail slides. Illustrate the journey from overlooked to must watch video, emphasizing the role of AI in enhancing visual appeal. So this right here, I'm going to copy it because that's what I want. And then I'm going to come up to my thumbnail wizard, which is my GPT. And if we look over here, we can click on, well, it's going to say new chat, but if I come over here really quickly, I can go to my GPTs just so you can see how this works. And I can click on thumbnail, which is right here for me. I can say edit, configuration, and then you can see down here, this is everything that the parameters for it to be able to give me, such as, you know, everything it needs to know about me. Now, if we come down here, we can see these are some quick questions I can add in. You can see this is the title, this is the headline, super duper simple stuff. If you wanted to create one of these GPTs, I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. But I first want to illustrate this point for you. So we're going to come back over here to thumbnail wizard, and I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to say, what type of image would you create? You can see I said, what type of image would you create for this right here? So for this idea, creating attention grabbing thumbnail slide, illustrate the journey from overlooked to must watch video. So I put all of that, what it gave me. So now it's telling me what it would do, which is giving me ideas on maybe what I should do. Okay, so as you can see, it told me what it would do. So it gives me split screen design, visual metaphors for AI, focus on engagement, text overlay, color contrast, dynamic elements. I mean, it listed out a whole bunch of stuff. So now what I want to do is I want it to build me an example of this, but I want it to be constrained to this. All right, so you can see I said, great, create a 1920 by 1080 image using the above idea to show me the example of the idea you had in mind. Be sure to make the spelling USA English. Let's see if they're going to let me create this image. So I got a first error message creating an image. So I think the 5 minutes might not be up, but this is how we'll go about doing it. All right, so now when we look at this, we can see that before, and then we can see AI. So it looks like that says unmissable. Before unmissable, AI unmissable. So basically it's doing a contrast between the two. This would actually be a nice way to do it. This would be a nice appeal. And then when we come back up here to what I asked it to do, which is create attention grabbing thumbnail slides, this definitely tells a story of how to capture one's attention. By this being all boring and bland with no color, and then this showing the power of color and how it popped, this would absolutely grab my attention. Now, again, the wording before before AI. So they're letting it know this is before, this is after. So the wording ain't that good. So, I mean, I would probably rewrite it to take that off. But since they've already throttled me back, I don't want to keep doing it. But moral of the story is this is how you would get around ChatGPT limitations. Once you know and understand what ChatGPT limitations are, you're able to then start a new chat and you're able to ask it to do something else. Notice, if we look over here, I didn't ask it to create a slide. I asked it to create a 1920 by 1080 image using the above idea, meaning that I want ChatGPT to use everything it told me and put it into an example of what it's talking about, of the idea you have in mind. Be sure to make the spelling USA English. So you can see right here, that's what it did. It took a lot of vibrant colors and all that other stuff and versed it against, plain Jane basic, and showed the power of design. This is something that I would actually use. I would definitely probably cut out the words, but I mean, you can easily mask those out. This isn't something I would sit here and keep trying to figure out how to do. I would literally take these into Affinity Photo and just, max them out, and that would be that. I mean, honestly, color aware field, if you're in Photoshop, that's super easy to get rid of. So that's how I would do it. That's how I get around ChatGPT limitations. Now, really quickly, let me show you how you can create your own GPTs if you haven't done it. So for me, all you gotta do is click on your name, go to my GPTs, and then over here, you can see right here, create new GPT. Now, if you don't see this or you don't have that right there where it says my GPTs, then that means more than likely you're on a free plan and you'll have to upgrade to the $20 a month. But honestly, when I tell you it's so worth it, it's so worth it. If you look over here, I have an ideal flusher, meaning if I'm thinking about creating a video based around, and the cool thing about it is I can say suggest a video, and it's going to suggest a video, but it's going to be based around productivity. Everything this does is based around productivity because that's what I'm into. That's what this channel is about. So when you look right here, you can see it says, let's see here, a day with a productivity guru. Now that's probably extreme, but it says, how about a video titled A Day with a Productivity Guru? I like the A Day with a Productivity, but guru, that's excessive. Extreme makeover edition. That would probably be something like 10 years from now when it made sense. But right now, not really. It said, here's the concept. You follow a productivity expert as they take on a challenge to transform the day of someone who feels overwhelmed by their tasks and commitments. Actually, this is very, very good. I thought it was saying like calling me the guru, but if I could actually do something like this, that would be awesome. This isn't just about to-do lists. It's a holistic approach covering time management, workspace organization, digital detox, and mental well-being strategies. Like, come on, man. Like, this is freaking awesome. And the cool thing about it is that's the power of GPTs. Now, had I told ChatGPT up here to give me a suggestion for a video, it probably would not have recommended a productivity video. But because this GPT is set up for specifically productivity, this one is set up specifically for copyright, and this one is set up specifically for nutrition, this one is set up specifically for YouTube idea thumbnails. I'm able to do that. Now, this Canva one, I mean, honestly, I'm going to hide it because I don't want it. But if Canva is your jam, then yeah, you might want to do that. And then over here, I can show you one last thing. When we click here, come over to the settings. We can now say archive all chats. Click on it, and you're going to see all of those chats go away, and we're ready to start fresh all over again. Honestly, this video has been over an hour long. I'm pretty sure when you watch it, it's probably barely going to be maybe 15, 20 minutes. But I'm telling you the full length of the video because I want you to understand that when you're getting into AI and ChatGPT or Mind Journey or Dolly or any of those other ones out there, you have to be patient and you have to pay attention to the prompts it gives you. So for example, over here, if I clicked on thumbnail and I say, all right, so you can see I would like to do a what's in my camera bag. Can you give me a creative backdrop for this theme and make it 1920 by 1080? Don't use any words or letters in the image. So I put or letters because when I put words, it still add words, but I'm hoping that because I went a step further and said words or letters, it'll be just a straight image and nothing else. But let's see. All right, so you can see with me doing that, I now get this right here. So I get a creative backdrop. I get a bag on the table. I get all this tech on the table, which is an old wooden table. Looks like I'm in a workshop studio type deal. This type of stuff is really cool. And honestly, had I asked ChatGPT to give me a background of whatever, it wouldn't have worked. It took me a while to learn that you have to use the language that ChatGPT give you. So, for example, if we look down here, it says it's tailored to a photography enthusiast. So, if I wanted something similar to this again, then I need to be copying this right here, photography enthusiast, because that's the keyword to trigger this type of image. And I would want to make sure I drop that copy or drop those two words into my ongoing list of how to talk to AI to get better at it, because it's always giving feedback, and what you ask it to do is completely different from the words it give back to you. If you take nothing else away from this video, take away when it gives you back this prompt, pay attention to the words it used to get this image. And if you like that image and you want something similar in the future, then you want to pluck out those keywords that will get you there. So for example, I learned that creative backdrop will get me something like this. I learned now photography enthusiast will give me all this camera gear, because that's who ChatGPT assuming my audience is. Now I could have told it, hey, my audience is videographers, or kids who just getting started with cameras or something like that. But in ChatGPT mind, this is my target audience based on what I asked for, which is a camera bag. What's in my camera bag with a creative backdrop. So hope you find this video helpful. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And we're going to be diving really deep into AI. So this is just the beginning, because honestly, right now, with me being a solo creator and doing two jobs and not really being in a position to hire somebody to do some of the things that's just boring to me, such as sitting down, editing videos, doing all those slices, I'm really diving deep into figuring out what AI tools can actually help me with my workflow versus which AI tools is just, a hit or miss basically. But this is definitely going to be a pillar on the channel moving forward, and I'm definitely testing out a lot more AI tools, and I'm going to be doing a lot more tutorials on it. And the cool thing about it is what we learn with ChatGPT as far as prompts and things like that translate over to Mindjourney, it translate over to Dolly, it translate over to any other app you decide to use that offers prompts. So this is really, really cool stuff. Hopefully you see the value in it, and you really should start creating GPTs, because it really does speed up the process, as you can see. With that being said, I'm Will. Catch you in the next video. Till next time. Later.